Nice to have you here in Finland and Kotka, my hometown, Mr. Tate.
Oh, so you didn't have far to travel?
Not this time. Last time I saw you was before the COVID started in Tampere. It's like 5 years ago, something like that.
Oh, yes. Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a strange time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But luckily now it's over and you're back here in Finland again.
Yeah, I think I might have. Contracted COVID in Finland. We were here on tour, and it was around my birthday. So my wife and we went up to Rovaniemi, and we were kind of celebrating being up at the Arctic Circle, And we were in a lovely hotel. And we were in the bar one night, and there was a whole group of like Chinese people that were partying up, and we got drinking with them and talking. What are you doing here in Rovaniemi? And we were exchanging stories, and they said, "Oh well, we had to leave China because there's this horrible disease going around. It's called the coronavirus, and it's horrible. So we came here to get away from it." And the more we drank, the more funny the word coronavirus sounded to us, and we were making jokes, like, because Corona is a very famous Mexican beer, so we were saying, I'd like a Corona with a shot of lime, please, and making jokes about it. And then a week later, we were all sick. So maybe it happened then, I don't know.
It might be. But hey, you have now a big rock show tour going on, and
Yes.
you've been playing shows in Finland and in Sweden and Estonia. How's the shows been so far?
Oh, it's been great. We're having really good reception. Everywhere we've gone, we started touring on this tour about 2 years ago, and it's taken us 2 years to get everywhere. And we have, I think, 1 more month left on this tour. We end in Spain, and so it's been a long journey, but very fun tour. Playing all these songs that were originally singles from the various albums I've done. And it seems to go down really well with people. They know all the songs, so they're singing along and having a great time,
How difficult or easy it was for you to pick up the set list for this tour?
Well, it was easy because we had an outline. We knew what we were going to do, or at least I should say I did. And so, it was easy from that standpoint to pick which songs. But it reminded me that I do have a huge discography of music, and I've forgotten about a lot of things I've done, So it was kind of a nice eye-opening experience to kind of look back at some of that music and kind of relearn it and figure out where my head was at when I wrote it, Because I think as a writer, you kind of go through phases where you're thinking about certain things and you write them and you kind of get them out of your system, and then you move on to something else that interests you, and sometimes you don't look back,
Well, one thing is for me, like I told you before we started, I've been your fan since I was a small boy, and my favorite album, Operation Mindcrime. When I heard it first, I was like, it was mind-blowing, and it still is. And it's almost 40 years old album.
Yeah.
But at the time when you wrote the songs and you had the idea of making a concept album and the theme of revolution and stuff like that, if somebody told you that this theme of the album is like, valid or relevant or whatever after 40 years, would you have believed that?
Well, probably not at the time. I wouldn't have believed it. But now, because I've seen a lot. And I see things happen in cycles quite often. But I think the album has really resonated with people, and it keeps finding a new audience. Every few years people discover it, and I get a lot of requests to play the album in its entirety. So we're planning on doing that next year. We'll be back in Finland next year playing it. We're going to start in America at the end of March and work our way around the world. But we're calling it the final chapter because we're doing a new album that we're releasing in March, late March. And we're going to kind of release it in a different way. We're releasing like groups of songs at a time, and so it'll stretch out over probably a year period as we release every 3 months or so.
Is it like EP or something?
Yeah, like a EP every 3 months, and then at the end we'll put it all together for a full presentation, you know. But it's interesting. It's the final chapter of the story, and I'm very excited about having people hear it, because it's kind of an evolution, really, of the characters of the story. You kind of see things from a different perspective on this album than you did on the previous 2 albums. So I think that's really interesting, and I hope people see it that way.
Well, it's nice to hear that you have that stuff coming up, and so there's something worth a wait.
Yes, I think so.
Well, I was also at the Helsinki Ice Hall when you were touring with Metallica back in 1988, and for me, I was 14 at the time, and for me, it was, you know, I was horrified because people were throwing you with bottles when you were playing. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I think I have a scar here from that.
I actually met Michael Wilton 5 years ago. I was interviewing him, and he told that someone threw him with a bottle and his guitar, and he was thinking that maybe he, you know, repainted it, but then he decided not to repaint it.
Yeah, he did a really interesting thing. I applaud him for his courage, really. But when it was a giant bottle of vodka that came flying up on stage, and it hit the neck of his guitar as he was playing it, and it shattered all the strings. So the guitar just went, made this horrible sound, right? And so he's kind of standing there for a second, and he just grabbed another guitar, and he finished the solo that he was playing. That was amazing, you know. He missed like, I don't know, 5 or 6 notes, but he got back on it and played the whole solo through. And because he did that, the audience just went, yes, you know. Yeah. It was pretty amazing that he did that.
It was a winning moment for you as a band, because the audience were clearly waiting for Metallica to show up and play.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Metallica had a huge presence here in Finland at that time, and yeah, we were the opening act, you know. So we... a lot of people were just waiting for us to get off the stage, you know. But we made them listen, you know.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I actually got a bootleg from that show, like, you know, over 10 years ago. I noticed it somewhere. Whoa, I have to get this.
Wow,
the quality is not so good, but for me it's important because I was actually coming to see you, not Metallica.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Funny, I had never heard of Metallica until we got on that tour. And then that's all I heard. You know, after that, they got huge. And it was a wonderful tour to be part of. We did all of Europe with Metallica, and then we went to America and did 2 tours with them. So it was a wonderful experience, really. And we got to kind of know the band, and I got to know their music intimately from being with them every day, you know. So it was a nice period of my life. I have good, fond memories of it all, you know.
I'm sure you have, because I think they were having such a, you know, fun times at back then.
Yes, it was a fun time to be a young man on the road, touring, playing music. It was nothing like it. It was very unique. Mm-hmm.
But let's talk more about the Mindcrime album. Like you said, the forthcoming version is the closure for a trilogy. But on the second Mindcrime Part 2, you had also Ronnie James Dio on there. So was it clear that you wanted Ronnie to do that specific part? Very
clear, yeah. Well, he is one of my all-time favorite singers. And we were very fortunate to be picked as his opening act for his tour back in, I think it was 83, 84 when we just started out. And he really was what I would call a mentor of a person. He was very giving, very open, would give us valuable advice at times and tell us what to do, what not to do, that kind of thing. And he was always a good guy, just a very decent human being, and treated us very well. And he was able to do the song. It's called The Chase. It's from the Operation Mindcrime 2 album. And he flew up to San Francisco, and where we were recording, and walked in, and our engineer had set up the mic stand for him and got his place all ready to record. And from the moment we started recording, he just gave us take after take after take of amazing work. And myself and my engineer at the time, we were just looking at each other going, how do we pick which take to use? Because they were all like, every one of them was great, So he sang for probably an hour and a half, I guess, just straight, giving it everything he had. And it was an amazing performance. And he's just a legendary guy. Just everyone you meet, everyone only has great things to say about Ronnie Dio.
I haven't met so many musicians and all this studio stuff, engineers and stuff like that. But I've heard everybody's talking about how humble he was and very kind and giving advices and stuff like that.
Always kind, and he had not only an amazing musical talent, but he had a social talent where he would meet somebody and he would remember their name. Even though he met them once, and maybe it was 5 years ago, he would remember their name and he would greet them, Mika, how are you? Nice to see you again. And it was always sort of surprising and shocking for people because they don't expect that, because he meets thousands of people all the time, But that's what a gift to be able to do that,
And in his position, like, where he stands, rock star, a legend.
Exactly. And you think about how many people he meets every week, thousands and thousands of people,
Especially when he was touring. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Geoff. One last question for you. Do you listen to music on your spare time?
Not really. No. I'm still listening to last night's show in my ears.
So you listen to your own songs from the last night. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Well,
occasionally I do, but I think that it's good to kind of keep my mind free of other things musically, simply because I have to give my ears a break. Occasionally I'll hear something that I want to listen to, and I get my phone out and Shazam it, find out what that song is, But not usually. Well,
actually, Mick Box told me the same, but he told that if he listens to music, he might, lose his talent to write his own music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people think that way, I think, and I can see why. Western music, is a limited amount of notes, and so how you arrange those notes, it's getting more and more difficult to be unique, I think, as a writer, because there's so many people writing music now, and there's so many artists, there's so many bands, so many singers, unbelievable amount. When I started out, there was a lot, but there was nothing like there is today, and that was 40 years ago. It's changed a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and more coming every day.
Yes, more coming every day.
All right. Thank you, Geoff, for this interview. It was a pleasure for me. An honor for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great show today.
Thank you. Hi, this is Geoff Tate, and you're watching Southeast Rec Metal.